Good morning. Welcome to my Wednesday devotional. I hope it's warm where you're at because it's really hot here. It's about 85 degrees today. So I hope you're nice and cool when sipping lemonade wherever you are. Welcome back. We are on Esther chapter 2. We've finally moved into chapter 2, right? After a long time on chapter 1. But that was all like the exposition, just kind of getting the backstory set up so we can get ready to finally meet Esther, which will be happening very soon. But right now we are in Esther 2, chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. And so right now we're on the part where Esther becomes queen. Basically, how did this go about? Well, all right, verse 1. But after Xerxes, that's the king, his anger had subsided, he began thinking about what Vashti, the former queen, what she had done and the decree he had made. So his personal attendants suggested, well, let us search the empire to find beautiful young virgins for the king. All right, so let's go over verse 1. So after his anger had subsided, let's talk about that for a second. Have you ever had a moment where, you just said something, you're really angry and, maybe just said something in the heat of the moment and really regretted it later? That's kind of the picture I'm getting, because he began thinking about Vashti and what she had done. Of course, he wanted, gotta blame her, right? And okay, that's true. She did do that. All right, but still. And then his part was the decree he had made to, banish her from the kingdom and making men the sole source of, power in the relationship. And, I think I just want to talk about his anger. What's behind anger? A lot of the time it's hurt, right? So maybe his pride was hurt because she rejected him. And so, understandably, yeah, his pride was hurt, his ego was hurt, his feelings were hurt. Absolutely, I can understand that. And so, it makes sense that he was done with her. But, what is the after effect? Well, he's got to look for a new wife, a new queen. And luckily, that's a good thing in this scenario. But let's say for a second, what if they had stopped to just calm down, once the anger had subsided, if she hadn't been banished from the kingdom, and we don't know if that means, she was either killed or sent back to her family, we don't know. But, what if they had talked about it and, expressed that feelings were hurt and things were said but it's okay, in the heat of the moment, maybe learn from that. What can we, because people make mistakes. No one's perfect. We really don't know why she rejected him. That's the big question. Why did she refuse the king? What's to refuse? That's why I've always said, why did she make that move? So I'm trying to, in the past when I've done this, led this course before, I was kind of hard on Vashti, but now that I'm kind of thinking about it, why did she refuse? And what kind of empathy can we have? Were her feelings hurt about something behind the scenes? We just don't know. We don't know what happened between the two, and to that end, it's kind of sad. But, but God, God always has a plan, and we will find out that Esther's the true queen and the one that's meant to be. And we're going to find out that's God's purpose for Esther to be there. So we know that, Vashti had to leave somehow. So maybe, how sometimes you just get in a mood, and maybe she was just in a mood and she just told him no. And then that got his mood going, and, so it kind of sounds like they are both kind of emotional and they were extreme characters. And so they split that direction. But I'm trying to say, how can we come in the middle, So, what's the solution? So the attendants were like, well, let's fix this real fast. Let's go go throughout the empire, find some, hot chicks or something for the king, and I can understand that too, what's the solution? Quick, we gotta make the king happy. Sorry, my autofocus does this every time I move the camera, so it just takes a second. Okay. So, yeah, now the attendants are scrambling to, find a solution. We can't have the king unhappy. And that's true too. So, from that, we're going to end up finding Esther. But, like I said, I was just thinking about this whole Vashti thing and all that. What would have been, let's say Esther was not on the scene, what would have been the ideal thing? The ideal thing was everyone just stop for a second, cool off, let the whoops, sorry, I'm trying to fix this. Okay, there we go. Let the cooler heads prevail and then calmly find out what's going on. Was it just a mood swing, or is there a serious issue, or whatever, because I think at the end of the day we hear the word communication and marriage relationship stuff, and that's true. We do need to communicate, but calmly and respectfully, of course. We just don't know what moods she was going through in him either, and not everyone's perfect. There's never a perfect marriage or a perfect relationship, and a lot of the time it has nothing to do with you at all. You just happen to walk in the door and someone's in a bad mood. I don't know. Those Satan just whispers lies, and starts stuff, and next thing you don't even know what you're fighting about. So, I think the lesson today is, how can we just have cooler heads prevail? How can we live in Christ's love? How can we receive, God's love? Because, his love never fails. God's love is perfect. He's the only perfect thing. The rest of us, we're just trying, and we're not perfect. We're human. We all need God to fill in the spaces of our weaknesses, right? So, relationships they're just tough, whether it's at work or school or home or whatever, and they always say, it starts with the family. Always goes back to the family. So your immediate nuclear family, the people that live in your house, it always starts there, and it really does. If you learn to get along with your family, you can get along with anyone, right? So anyway, all right. So now we're starting to make the turn to find out, who is Esther, and, how does she handle, she's got a couple of challenges coming up, big challenges. How does she handle it with grace and beauty and style, compassion? Does she get angry? Does she have a mood? If she does, we don't hear about it. She's kind of perfect, but that's okay. I'm sure there's someone, because no one's perfect, but I'm sure that there's somebody that we admire, that we think of, that has grace and beauty and compassion and style and able to stay calm in the storms. So I think we should pray on that we can be like that we can just really receive God's love and be able to love people, even the most difficult people, even people in the king's case, Vashti rejected him in the face of rejection, and that's really hard too. It's hard to love those that have rejected us. It takes a lot of forgiveness and patience, and that's hard to do too. So maybe we can just think about love. It just kind of came upon my heart today. Maybe we just love even though they've rejected us. Just love anyway, and that's how we can show Christ. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for watching, and I hope to see you next week. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.